Welcome to the Thought Leadership Series featuring interviews with some of the best minds in the industry. Today's special guest is popular platform speaker and best-selling author, Anthony Morris. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Savant, syndicated financial columnist and talk show host. In this segment, we're talking about securing access to CPAs, attorneys, and trust officers through the Values Trust Strategy, a powerful access tool for prospective clients from Anthony's popular presentations and best-selling book, Turning Professional Days into Paydays. Well, there's nothing like the holy grail of the fiduciary market. I have to say, everybody wants in on this. You have some unique, and I have to say, anomalous ideas that could really bring a distinction and a differentiation to our practice. And I want you to address this because this could be huge for a lot of our advisors watching this. And the first thing it is, your great show. I watched, first time I did an interview with you, I watched this just because of your recommendation. It was great. It was better. It was the best fact finder I've ever seen in my life.
Well, Steve, you know, what we're hearing more and more from clients today is there any way that you can put some ropes and chains on my money? I'm not sure if my substance abuse child or my special needs child would know what to do with $5 million of my money. The other thing we're hearing from wealthy clients as well is, you know, my children, I fed them, clothed them, and housed them for 40 years. My children can inherit my house, mortgage-free. Can you show me a plan to spend the kids' inheritance before I die? So there's two schools of thoughts about this, but generally, if one wants to spend more time in front of CPAs and in front of attorneys, you have to find what I would call affectionately a covert or a backdoor way to getting in front of them. They're very, very skittish and they're very nervous and very distrusting of financial advisors. They tend to be left-brain people instead of right-brain people. We know that. Highly analytical, highly suspicious, highly cynical. And what we found with clients is if we can get our financial advisor to watch the Ultimate Gift movie with their clients. Ultimate Gift is a story of a millionaire. When he dies, his grandson thinks he's getting all the money, but he gets a set of 10 lessons that he needs to, 10 tests, which he needs to pass before he inherits all the money. I won't share the elements of the movie. You can check it out on YouTube, check out the preview. But the point behind the Ultimate Gift movie is when people have watched this, they realize that what they might want to do is build a structure where their kids have to earn their way into certain payouts from their estate. And there's a living trust, and there's a testamentary trust. You can have the living trust end when the client is deceased, the testamentary trust starts again. And as I explore this with you, obviously you realize, Steve, that other professional advisors are involved to become the administrators of this trust, namely the CPA and the attorney. And what I want to encourage you to do is watch the movie, first of all, and then consider, we have some resources on my website as well, booklets that go with us that explain how values trusts work. But really, it's all about the accountant or the attorney billing professional fees to that trust. Because every year, if the kids or the beneficiaries want to achieve a payout from the trust, because they've driven with no demerit points, or they've stayed married, or they've educated themselves, or they've positively paid tax and had gainful employment or other conditions of the trust, they have to go and see these professional CPAs and attorneys. CPAs and attorneys love this because what they love more than anything else is what we call passive fees, passive billings. If a CPA or an attorney can look at a year and see that they have $200,000, $300,000 or $400,000 worth of passive billings from a number of financial structures where they're doing the audit, the tax returns, or they're having professional meetings which are billable in an attorney's case at $300, $400, $500 an hour, they like that kind of work. And so we've had great success with this. Obviously, it takes time to set up a values trust. Obviously, it gets funded with investment dollars and or life insurance dollars, and that's where the sale comes for the financial advisor as well. You can also play this movie to professional development days of CPAs and attorneys, or go and give this to them if you're going to go and sponsor their lunch, a subject of a future show which we're going to have around the PD days.
This is so surprising because we talk about left brain, right brain. We always think of CPAs, they're just number crunchers, analytic, they're pencil pushers. But interesting, we're all human. And even attorneys are human. I know that's a surprise to some of our advisors. But this movie really opens up not only the client's mindset, but the fiduciary's mindset. They actually get a lot out of this movie.
Well, the proof is in the pudding, Steve, because the producers of the movie, and I deal with them directly, they tell me that they're selling containers of this movie in the United States every month to accountants and attorneys instead of financial advisors. which tells us that the accountants and attorneys are using the movie to differently engage their clients' hearts, not just their minds, and set up values trusts for them to generate professional billings directly, going right behind the back of the financial advisor who's not getting the investment or the life insurance sale from it. The other thing on that comment is we see the Society for Financial Professionals and some of these new professional associations and bodies that invite accountants and attorneys to join as well as financial advisors. We're seeing their membership ranks growing tremendously quickly. And that's because accountants and attorneys really, really want to become the one-stop shop for any financial conversation or any financial solution with their clients. They recognize that they've got to add value far beyond the commodity of just legal or accounting or financial bookkeeping and that sort of thing.
Well, for more information on how you can access the fiduciary market with a values trust strategy and use the ultimate gift and how it can expand your practice, just click on the landing page address in the video description. We'll be right back with more from Anthony Morris.
This is your website. Few people visit, and if it isn't attracting new visitors, it's not doing its job. Now you can drive more visitors to your website through dynamic content and email marketing with CreativeOne's Social Media Elite. Capture quality leads faster and easier. Engage your visitors with informative articles and videos to boost your online credibility. Plus, stay connected with existing clients and earn more referrals. All content is customized for you. It's time to introduce your website to the world. Call your CreativeOne sales team at 800-992-2642 or visit us online at creativeone.com.
In this segment, we're continuing our discussion on how to secure access to CPAs, attorneys, and trust officers, not only through the values trust strategy, but also through the family survey. We're going to show you how that works and how to penetrate the fiduciary market, all from Anthony's popular presentations and best-selling book, Turning Professional Days into Paydays. Well, Anthony, that last segment was just excellent, and I think that people are really going to get a lot out of this. When we talk about the family survey, I keep thinking, okay, now, didn't we do the directory? Is that different? And this is really quite different.
Well, it is. You know me to be a big believer in simplicity, and if you can have high impact with a few words, that works well. We also know that CPAs and attorneys have a lot of family business clients, right? Where dad has been in the business for the last 20, 30, 40 years. He's got 2 or 3 sons, or his son and daughter in the business. He's unsure of what should transition to who. What happens if you have one kid who's a social worker, another kid who's your business partner? How do you sort that sort of thing out? So the family survey, to give to CPAs and to give to attorneys to have their clients complete, so that the financial advisor can be brought in on the sorting out of the financial disturbance which gets created. You know, Steve, I sometimes think that our goal and our job description in this business is to bother people. Just think about that for a second. We are there and we are paid to bother people, to disturb the status quo, to create what the psychologists call cognitive dissonance, which is a tension between the way things are and the way things could or should be. So we've given you here the letter which the parents write to their kids, telling their kids that they're working with Steve Savant, financial advisor, and it's important that the transfer of their assets creates family harmony and unity as opposed to discord and conflict. And as the beneficiaries of our life's work, our financial work, we're sure you would appreciate the opportunity to give us an opinion on this important issue. With this in mind, we'd appreciate you completing the attached brief anonymous survey and forwarding it by mail. Steve, the advisor's got to make sure this comes by regular mail, not by email, because obviously then it's not anonymous anymore.
Right.
Which means if you present this to the accountant or attorney and suggest that they conduct this exercise with their family business clients, you want to give them self-addressed stamped envelopes back to your office. The results come back to you. And so let's take a look at the survey itself. I like simple surveys, 3 or 2 question surveys, better than 5 pages. Question 1, what do you believe that your parents are worth financially? So if you have 3 kids on doing the survey, I almost guarantee that you won't get the same answer. Okay. The second question.
Yeah, and just before you go on to that, I have to say the first time I heard you say this, I went out and I asked people in my family, how much do you think that grandpa's worth or mother's worth or whatever, and I was shocked. Nobody was close.
Absolutely.
It just stunned.
Yeah. How do you believe their assets are structured percentage-wise between cash, company shares, stock market assets, real estate, etc.? And then through their estate, okay, what would you prefer to inherit? Okay, very, very important. I had a young representative on my coaching program come to me after session 3, 9 months into my 1-year course, showing me the results of her first family survey. And one of the kids had scratched through the questions without answering them, and just scribbled on there, "Mom and Dad, I don't care what you leave me, but please don't leave me any assets that are also controlled by you know who." Is there trouble in that family in terms of estate planning? You'd better believe it. I had one of my Raymond James people, I coached their top 100 in Canada, complete this with one of his top attorney clients. The attorney client decided to change his entire estate based on what his kids versus his stepkids were saying about his money. Amazing opportunities. That leads us to another conversation, which is a wonderful opportunity, and that is to conduct family meetings. So, Steve, the family survey causes a disturbance to result in the parents wanting to have a family meeting. There's a wonderful book, Estate Planning Through Family Meetings Without Breaking Up Your Family. I have no financial relationship with Lynn Butler whatsoever, but it's a best-selling book that I strongly want to encourage you to buy and read, Steve. We all bought Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Most people stopped reading after habit 3. Habit 4 was finish what you start. So when I tell you to read the book, read the book. It will give you, I'll give you the elevator speech behind the book. Steve, who gets mom's jewelry? Because it better be documented and written down, or there's going to be a family fight. Who says that all 3 of your kids want to inherit the Myrtle Beach golf condominium on the golfing estate in South Carolina? What if one of them lives in Dubai or Melbourne, Australia? Now your daughter is responsible for 1/3 of the property taxes, maintenance rates, and landscaping bill of a South Carolina condo that she can't stay in so often. And she can't put 1/3 of a condo on her family balance sheet, because we know that retail banks won't recognize 1/3 of an asset as collateral to consolidate debt if they don't control the other 2/3, because they don't want to be in the condo owning business. Very important. You know, Steve, you know me as a coach to be teaching a little bit of flamboyance and theatrics. I believe that people should have a nice time when they're buying from you. I want you folks to get to the point that you're so good that your clients would buy tickets to have their friends watch you speak and watch you work. So use humor just occasionally. You know, Steve, if your mom believes that bin Laden wasn't shot, that they made that movie for CNN, that work of fiction, because mom's got the early dementia thing going right now, and mom believes that bin Laden's on his way over from Tempe right now in a dark black Subaru with his friends, so she's liquidating her savings account to stock up the basement with another 1 ton of canned meat, and she's at Costco spending that money this morning. You can't walk into US Bank, Wells Fargo, or Chase or Bank of America and say, I'm taking control of my mom's savings account. She's losing her mental marbles, spending $1 million on bully beef, because they will turn around and say, on whose power of attorney? If dad lives in Colorado, California, Washington, Oregon, and a few other states, he's 89 years old and he has an achy shoulder. We know that at age 89 in California with an achy shoulder, you go off to the general practitioner who writes you a script for medical marijuana. So dad is high most of the time and has just taken up skydiving at age 89 and is buying a light aircraft for him and his friends, liquidating his investment account. You can't walk into Raymond James and say to them, you know, my dad is buying airplanes with his investments, I'm taking control of his account. The powers of attorney have to be in place. And finally, and I'll say this on the show, you don't want to use these words with your clients, how often do we jumpstart granny? Because you don't want it to come down to a family vote around the family bed in the hospice about whether we resuscitate mom or not. And if mom was a Nordstrom's mom or a Saks Fifth Avenue mom, who controls her checkbook when she wouldn't recognize whether that was a new $350 robe which we bought her for holidays or for her birthday, compared to a second-hand Salvation Army robe which we buy on some website somewhere? Very, very important that we confront these issues. So use the book. Use the checklists and agendas for family meetings that come with the book to open dialogue, and give copies of this book to CPAs and attorneys to share with their clients, because the structures that come from it are billable structures, and what you're doing is you're feeding the CPA and attorney with revenue opportunity. That's how we get them to want to work with us.
Anthony has 6 free offers out on his website as an introduction to his marketing menu of services. Well, for more information on how you can access the fiduciary market with the family survey, just click on the landing page address in the video description. And for more information on our shows, seminars, and workshops, just follow us on our social media or visit us on our website. I'm Steve Savant. We'll see you next time on the Thought Leadership Series. And remember, keep thinking outside the box.